The difference between the impossible and the possible lies in a man's determination, is a quote that I keep in the back of my mind whenever I start one of my many masochist playthroughs. But it wasn't always this way. A little under a year ago, I uploaded a video attempting the same run of Calamity Infernum with no accessories, but due to a lack of planning and proper strategizing, I deemed the run impossible after making it all the way to Devour of Gods, but fell short of any real survivability. The ending to that video would soon be my biggest regret that I'd leave in the back of my mind for the rest of time. However, after going on a bit of a redemption arc with a previous challenge, I figured since I know a lot more about the game and have a couple backseating rats in my chat, I could probably theoretically give Infernum the accessories a rematch, right? Hey, before we begin, I just want to let y'all know that this was streamed live here on YouTube, so if you ever want to be part of my shenanigans, make sure to subscribe. These videos take a ton of time and dedication, and I'd appreciate every little bit of support I can get. But, little PSA out of the way, let's begin. Hey stream, remember when I said that I was gonna disappear for like a month to edit whatever the fuck I just did? Well, yeah, I wanted to keep that promise, but I had some intrusive thoughts. Alright, random number. We got 9. What's 9? I don't think I've ever had a Sock Up in Circles character. While the world's being created, we first have to understand why Infernum Mode makes this run much more different from any other accessory-less runs. Infernum, especially on later splits of the game, is really just a bullet hell with boss fights that are crafted around having good mobility. There's also the fact that our damage is only a fraction of what a normal loadout would be, but after completing the game with only classless support weapons, damage is pretty much irrelevant to me. But my gripe with this challenge is not having any good mobility, as we aren't allowed any wings, shoes, dodges, and everyone's worst nightmare, no Magoluminescence. So to circumvent our handicap, we're gonna have to improvise. My running speed paired with a swiftness potion, food buff, and a sunflower could not outspeed the Eye of Cthulhu. The way we got around this was by using a horse mount sold by the zoologist, which I grabbed from another world because I could not be asked to grind 35% of the bestiary for. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that cheating? Yeah, which is also another reason why I'm redoing this. A lot of goofs were made that could be interpreted as cheating, but I'll touch on that later. Now this mount worked fine. Sure, it was fast enough, but its acceleration was very slow, which made turns and other precise movements really risky to pull off. But we don't really have to use it this time around. Calamity adds 2 mounts that can be obtained right off the rip, with speed similar to the horse's top speed while not having any noticeable acceleration. Only problem is that they're found in very specific underground structures, with the more versatile of the two being in the snow biome. So I set out to the tundra, and after a long struggle, I finally made it. Until I stepped on a dart trap and accepted defeat. So instead I opted to gear up a little bit before heading back over, as I was nothing but a brittle naked man in dire need of some pants. And after getting some, I made my trek back only to dart trap. But luckily I made it back over, only to yet again perish. But it wasn't a dart trap this time, so I'm actually not that annoyed. But clearly I wasn't allowed my tundra leash, so I just went back to the mines to mine some ore, life crystals, and money, to which I'd put towards dynamite to make an instant elevator, which gave me easier access to even more ores and life crystals. Oh, and hell too, I guess. But it also very conveniently led me to somewhere that I actually wanted to be. And there it is, the drill. That bat is gonna ruin my life. It's not. These slimes are though. No, they're not. Give me this shit. I'm out of here. Holy shit! Now, while this mount is the fastest of the two, it has some downsides to it, most notably its jump height, or should I say, lack thereof. But even with those cons, it's still a very good mount to have for this early stage of the game. I still would rather have a tundra leash though, but this will do for now. And in addition to having decent mobility, we'll also need a good enough loadout, which is probably now a good time to talk about that. For a good majority of this playthrough, I went with Ranger. Now I know what some of you are probably thinking, Calamity Ranger is mid! And to that I say, yeah. But there's a very good reason for this. Ranger doesn't really have many accessories attached to it, so I'm not really losing much by not having them, unlike the other classes that are pretty much reliant on them, like Summoner, Mage, or even Melee. But Melee is kinda boring, so I'm just gonna stick with Ranger for now. So to prepare for that, I went to the Crimson to blow up a single heart for an Undertaker, just to sell it to the arms dealer the second he moves in, so that I could replace it for a mini shark. I then dove into the underground desert to mine up desert fossils so I could extract them for some pretty good resources and materials for the armor set. And eventually a goblin army showed up, so I took care of them. But instead of looking for the tinkering con artist, I instead flattened out my land to build an arena. And after I finished building, I decided to try out my first boss, the Desert Scourge, but fell short to poor movement and bad arena. So in response to that, I removed a couple layers, to which he responded by whooping my ass. It wasn't until the third death that I decided to put him off for a bit, so I could focus on getting the Tundra Leash, that I totally found with complete luck and not because I peeked at T-Edit. This mount is pretty good, as it's got decent speed, a pretty good jump, and also charge damage. So you can only guess how my next sandworm attempt went. Go on. Yes. I decided to put him off yet again, and instead went over to the jungle where I'd find a boomstick. And then I'd mine Crimtane for a tendon bow, but instead of slamming my skull into Desert Scourge again, I instead tried out the Eye of Cthulhu, where I'd get him pretty low on my very first attempt, which made me confident going into the next. No way I'd choke. Like, there's no way. Yeah. See? It was that simple. It was that simple. Seeing as though I kind of fluked Eye of Cthulhu, I wanted to take that momentum back into Desert Scourge. Come on. You're 1 HP. There we go. Why was that so hard? Lol. I just had to do that, you know? I just had to do exactly what I did. Now that we got through our first bosses, I figured now I'd finally go looking for the Goblin Tinkerer, and as I was building a house for him, I got a message in chat saying that the Brewer had moved in. The Brewer is an NPC added by the AlchemistNPC mod that sells potions based on your progression point. Now, not only does she sell the vanilla potions, but also the Calamity potions. However, in the same tab that Calamity potions are stored, there are other ones. Potions more sinister, more unbalanced, unfair, if you will. Potions that do not help with the quality of cheating allegations. I'm talking about, of course, the AlchemistNPC potions. No fucking shit. These potions give you the abilities of certain accessories or armor sets without even having them equipped. Why get a Cobalt Shield when you can drink Fortitude? Why get Master Ninja Gear when you can just chug a Ninja Pot? Why even bother with Hollowed Armor when you can get Holy Protection by drinking a Blurring Potion? Now I admit, I've used these in my past. My first run utilized these, which made the challenge exponentially easier. Hell, even my True Melee No Armor video, which is what started this whole redemption arc anyway, had used a Blurring Potion. I didn't use these to intentionally cheat back then. More so, I was kinda stupid, but I've learned from my ways. I can confidently say that these buffs are banned. So, if at any point in this video I complain about knockback ruining my life, do not tell me that I should have used a Fortitude potion, because I will freak out. Hell, don't even tell me things I should have done in general, because 1, you're probably wrong, and 2, I don't care. I literally beat the fucking run the way I wanted to, and if it really bothers you, go play with the other playthrough dictators. Anyway, to sum up that whole tangent, mod potion not Calamity is bad and gross. Mod potion that is Calamity is yippee and cool. But, you know, while we're on the topic of potions and buffs, at some point I figured out that you could hide infinite buffs in Quality of Terraria's config. So when I'm pretty late into the game and you see a suspiciously low amount of buffs, just assume I've got everything I could possibly get, including furniture. But besides that, we found the goblin. In other news, I went to hell so I could walk all the way to the Brimstone Crag to get the Blade Crest Oath Sword, but a demon seemed to have other plans for me, so I gave up on that for now, so that I could focus on my real passion, fishing. To which I immediately ditched upon getting a Reaver Shark and went back to hell for some Hellstone that I put towards a couple weapons. And I felt pretty ready for Brain of Cthulhu, which took a couple tries, but as far as I'm aware, those did not happen. Die! You annoying prick. Okay. Now, technically I cheesed him by using gear a whole tier above him, but to be fair... But anyways, I fought King Slime, and as expected of someone with weapons way past his progression point, he popped in no time. Who's gonna drop first? He drops first, alright. And since I had back-to-back W's, I tried carrying the success over to the Perforators, which didn't go so well, which made me go back to hell to actually fetch the Blade Crest Oath Sword, and once I did, I made some Molten Armor and began grinding the first decently difficult fight in the playthrough. Ah, you motherfucker! See, it was that simple. It was that fucking simple. Like, I just had to do that. Hello? That took that long. Why? Hello? At the start of the next stream, I got materials for aerospec armor before digging out an area in the glowing mushroom fields to take on Crabulon. Alright, there's people, there's enemies in the arena, I don't care. That would be cool if you just died. Right now. Thank you. What's funny is that in my previous attempt, someone told me that this guy would be my limit. Boy, were they extremely far off, because following his death, I beamed straight for the jungle to make an arena for Queen Bee that I'd later use for future bosses as well. I was getting massively skill diffed with this fight, but after adjusting the spacing of my platforms, the fight went a lot smoother. Fuck you. Oh my god, I got the bee's knees! Just what I wanted! Queen Bee dropped the bee's knees, which is a pretty good bow. So good, in fact, that I took it to the dungeon, killed myself for the summon item, then proceeded not to use it, all in favor of using the Aqua Shard shotgun, which I had silently gotten when grinding for Queen Bee. Oh, wow. I did it. Okay, cool. I don't know what the hell I was on about before. About Skeletron being, like, really hard. He's not. The dungeon is now unlocked, but I didn't really need anything from it other than a shadow key and a bewitching table, and I guess an alchemy table for silly T-mod potion duping, and I guess also bones for necro armor. I'm not really planning on making a Terra Blade, so I don't really care about the Muramasa, and all the other weapons are kind of irrelevant. Oh, but what about the handgun? You need it for the Phoenix Blaster. All I'm gonna say is, the orange gun is overrated. Once I got my shadow key, I went back to where I belonged to snag a Hellwing bow, Murasama, and the Wayfinder from the Profane Garden before golfing. Eventually, I racked up enough points to buy a golf cart. This mount has basically instant acceleration, a very high jump, and a ram that ignores contact damage after reaching a certain speed. But we're gonna ignore that last part because it didn't really come into play very often, if not at all. Anyway, golf cart talk aside, the last boss I wanted to fight before Wall of Flesh was Slime God. I had a little bit of trouble with him back in my original run, but once I figured out how the boss worked, the fight was pretty easy. The strat I came up with involved evenly chipping away both Slime's health, as once one dies, the other one gets a lot more aggressive, which is a real pain to dodge with my limited movement. And the last phase is typically pretty free, so with all that in mind, the fight would go like this. There's slime god down. Slime god's killed. As expected of slime god, that was fucking easy. The last 20 seconds of the fight was mysteriously cut off from the VOD, If I had to guess, my internet lagged or something. Slime God dropped a material called Purified Gel, which is used for some weapons and Statagel armor, which is really good stat-wise, but the thing I really care about is the double jump it provides, which makes dodging the wall of flesh much easier. Alright, let's just see how this goes with the current gear, current loadout. Let's see how this. That's right. He has a laser. Oh, I didn't get the parry. Oh my god, it's so over. Test out all my gizmos, all my gadgets. Fuck. This is a learning experience. A Calamity Infernum learning experience. From someone who hasn't played it in so long. In all these years. I had a rhythm to this, and I don't know what happened to it. Ah, it's getting very weirdly cold, but also weirdly warm in my room. So it's like weirdly gushy. You know what I mean? Oh, I might be coming up on the edge. It's fine, it's fine. He's got like not a lot of health left, so it's probably fine. And I think I'm actually gonna kill him first try. This guy took me, I want to remind you guys, this guy took fucking like 4 hours. Not even, way more than 4 hours, and he's like already dead. He's a chump. He's a chump. He's a fucking chump. Hello? I started hard mode with a plan. Step 1, find the hollow. Step 2, obtain the jelly crystal. Step 3, dig out a large area at said hollow. Step 4, build an arena with inappropriately spaced platforms which will be tediously changed multiple times later on. Step 5, grab some palladium and a marrow for armor. Step 4, kill Queen Slime. You have no health! Okay, thank you. Oh wow, a hollowed key. I sorta don't care that much. Queen Slime drops the Crystal Assassin armor, which has some very good stats no matter what class you're playing, except Summoner. But it's also one of the few armor sets that grants a dash, making boss fights on foot all the more viable, at least for me. I have a very dash heavy playstyle, so take that as you will. The next boss on our chopping block was Cryogen. For that I need some Souls of Night and some Essence of Elysium, though when I was farming for them I ended up getting a Glorious End, a magic weapon that flies you in the direction of your cursor for a limited time. Which sounds really good, except for the fact that I never used it. There wasn't really a single boss that actually warranted using it, so I just collected dust in my inventory for the remainder of the playthrough. Anyway, after getting all the materials, I made the Cryo Key and summoned the unstable prison, Cryogen. Nope, I think I'm dead. Yep, I'm dead. Couple shots, there we go. See, what was the issue? I just had to do exactly what I did Right there. After his death, I farmed hollowed mimics until I got a dataless bow, and then I proceeded to slam my head against Skeletron Prime. He was a little bit hard, with his most annoying attack being the one where he dashes into you and leaves behind a fan of bullets. But I figured out that if you jump into him, the golf cart would ram into him, giving me iframes to survive both his bald metal head and his projectiles. W iframe abuse? Oh, you are not doing the one. Now that I figured out the tech. The goober tech. I didn't. I just didn't. No! I'm not in the arena! Fuck! Fuck! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! The group attack is failing me. Fuck! We're at Prisma. Alright, now I got the Prisma spectate buff. This is the part where I win. The end of my arena is right here. Shit! Motherfucker. Okay, I need that rod of Discord actually. Fuck, it's fucking... Ah. Am I so incredibly boned? Or am I chillin'? I'm chillin'. Lol. So, there was no reason for that to take as long as it did. Yay! We killed a boss. Prime was a little difficult, but was definitely leagues easier compared to the other mechs. But we'll get into that more later, as Mithril and Orichalcum are able to be mined now, since we defeated our first mech. Now I could have just skipped all the way to Titanium and Adamantite from fishing, but I wanted to hold off on that, as it's kind of a lame tactic. Anyway, bosses. Destroyer is less hard, more annoying, but it's that annoyance that makes it hard, if that makes any sense. He's got an army of 1 billion probes, and his head hits like a truck. So instead of fighting him, I flipped over to the twins after getting my hands on an Uzi. I actually had a real strategy for the twins, which involved a long minecart in hell, and by the time Spasmatism was in his last phase, I'd recall to my arena and finish him off there. Yeah, this didn't work. I wasn't really sure why I wasn't going as well. Apparently I misremembered my last run because I thought I had used the default minecart, but apparently I didn't, which I only realized when writing the script. So as you'd imagine, I died a lot. I wasn't really getting anywhere, so I went to the jungle to max out on life fruit, as Calamity makes them obtainable right off the rip in hard mode. But this health upgrade still didn't help with living, so instead I opted to skip these guys and go for Plantera instead, but that also didn't go anywhere. So I finally decided to bite the bullet and fish. All I needed was 10 adamantite bars so I could craft a particle accelerator, which would work extremely well against the metallic drake. Dead! Thank you. And with our second mech down, tier 3 ores are mineable now, so we don't have to fish cheese anymore. And after gearing up a little bit, there was just one last mech to take care of. Alright, so future chapsticks here. I explained my bastard tech really badly, and I explain it even worse in the demonstration that you're about to see. Basically, falling makes dodging easier. However, since we can't fall infinitely, I just teleport back up to my bed, which doesn't have a valid house, which is kind of sketchy, but since you can make one of those out of bubble blocks, which functions the exact fucking same, I'd consider this legal, quote unquote. It's a thing in QOT's config, but if you're still skeptical about it, here's a demonstration. The fight is literally the exact same as I did on stream, so, It's been a hot minute since I've played. this fight. Well, at least, like, in a golf cart. I don't have the rage upgrade from fucking, what's that guy, Crabulon, or any of the other rage upgrades. I made this character like 5 minutes ago, so holy shit. Focus this guy. What do I do about this one? No, I'm chilling, right? I'm fine? Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, motherfucker. Alright. I think that's my first heal. Fuck. I'm very rusty at golf cart gameplay, so I don't expect to win this, but, you know, honestly, I think I might. That's the direction that this attempt is heading in. So, I mean, this fight's not too hard, especially when you're being a little bitch and, recalling. Alright. Let's bring it up here. I do not remember how this goes at all. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, that tags me. Yeah, that would. Ah, that tagged me? That's crazy. And yeah, I walked into that one. And I walked into that one too. Holy shit! Oh, I don't know why I thought that would save me. I don't know, I was kind of panicking there. But, yeah, that's that. It's probably got more spam than it did in the original. That's only because I'm pretty sure this arena is like way shorter than it was before. But, you know, who cares? Who cares, man? Alright, so I'm gonna stop myself before I go on some random tangent. So, let's move on. Brimstone Elemental honestly wasn't really worth mentioning, other than her dropping an okay summon, but, you know, not really playing summoner, so I don't really care. But what I do care about is playing Terra. So easy. First try. Holy shit. No way. First try. With Plantera defeated, I set up an area for the truffle to move in so I could buy the auto hammer for Shroomite. I then went to the post-Plantera dungeon to get my hands on some illegally imported firearms. I then tried fighting Golem, but since Infernum disables platforms in his chamber, that means I'd have to go on foot, and as you'd imagine, didn't go very well. So I started the Pumpkin Moon event, to which I get two things: the Hexed Branch, which is an extremely fast mount, and the Witch's Broom, which would be our very first flying mount. Now, you'd probably expect this thing to hard carry the rest of the game, but that's not really the case. It's a great mount, it's just that the acceleration is so slow that it narrows down the timing window to react to certain complex patterns, especially in a bullet hell styled mod like Infernum, and it's because of this that its viability completely tanks. Don't get me wrong, there are some fights where it excels. Actually, excel is a very strong word. It works, but that's mostly because there's no other options. We'll get into that more later, but for now, Golem. attempt is also not good. But sure. I mean, I guess I'm allowed to win. That works too. Well, that was a good fight. Time to never touch the broom again, I thought, as I marched over to the very tall arena with several dozen layers. It'd be a shame if a certain mount was ever so slightly short of reaching a platform that I'd have to replace every single fucking layer. Would be a shame, wouldn't it? The rest of that whole stream didn't really go anywhere. I kept dying to Calamitous without any real strategy, so I figured I'd just ignore her for a bit and try to go for Lunatic Cultist. However, I didn't really feel like extending my arena to the dungeon, despite it being right fucking there. So instead, I figured I'd just bring him to the arena. Calamity adds a summon item for the Cultist called the Eidolon Tablet, which is dropped by Eidolists in the Abyss, which normally in Calamity you'd need to defeat a Calamitous clone for them to spawn, but Infernum makes it so they always spawn no matter what, which is pretty cool. The Abyss is a whole thing that Calamity also adds, with its deal being that you lose more breath as you descend. Now, our guys are located in the 3rd layer, right here. The only problem being what I previously mentioned, breath loss, which can be negated with various accessories and whatnot. But in our special circumstances, we can't use those at all. So, how do we get through the Abyss? Well, lucky for us, the solution is actually pretty simple. All we gotta do is head to the Sunken Sea, defeat the giant clam, and free the Sea King NPC, and click Help. This spawns a bubble around the player, which provides infinite water breathing as long as you don't get hit. And with this, we're able to reach the Eidolist spawn platform, and all we'd have to do is kill one, which was kind of annoying, but eventually we pulled through. However, Cultists proved to be pretty tough, so I spawned the Frost Moon in hopes to get a snowman cannon, but I can't really say it did too much, so I ended up just skipping this guy as well to fight Asham, which was funny. Oh look, Mechanical Bee. It was just loss after a loss at this point, and after seeing that I'd been live for almost 8 hours, I ended up calling it for the night. The next day, I started stream by adjusting the platforms in my jungle arena as they were a bit too high for my Hexed Branch, which would be my mount of choice for the Plaguebringer Goliath with its very high speed. However, going up was still pretty much a death wish, as it's very slow and calls for jumping several billion times, which I wasn't comfortable doing. However, I found that falling made dodging a trillion times better, which made me get the idea to place teleporters at the very bottom of my arena and have them rigged to another set at the top, letting me fall infinitely without having to worry about running out of space. So after about an hour, I finished all the wiring and put my contraption to work. Alright, too easy. Why did that take as long as it did? The Toxin Bee dropped a material called Infected Armor Plating, which allows us to craft the Plaguebringer armor set. But looking at these stats, you're probably quick to realize that this is a summoner set, and last time I checked, this was a ranger playthrough. So what gives? Well, it's not about the stats that this set gives, it's more about the set bonus, which is indeed a fully fledged ram dash. Now, never in a million years would I have guessed the summoner set has a ram dash. So it's really no surprise that in my last video I mentioned how Solar Flare was the only set that had one of those. But unlike the complete dogshit ass-wiping excuse of a ram that comes with Solar Flare, Plaguebringers is actually good and usable as a ram, as it doesn't come with that shitty fucking cooldown that completely ruined my life on the last run, which is why this armor set is honestly one of my favorites ever. Despite it being kind of mid and outclassed pretty quickly, it's our scenario that makes it so fucking good. But for now, it's kind of useless. You know, we're not at Dash Slop Central yet, so who cares honestly. So in the meantime, since it is a ranger playthrough, I settled with Plague Reaper armor for our next boss, Anahita and her Sea Dog. This fight is actually pretty projectile heavy, and like I said, going up wasn't optimal at all. I mean, I could place teleporters again, but I'll be honest, I kind of didn't really want to spend a whole nother hour of the stream doing that. So instead, I finally caved and decided, sure, fuck it. I'll try out feather falling potions. I'm sure there's been a lot of you getting aneurysms at the fact that I've never once used or even brought up featherfall, but I can assure you there's a reason for that. Their only purpose is to allow for slow fall, so I never really saw any viability in this. But man, have I been so wrong. Now, they do slow fall, but who cares? I don't. They have this mechanic where if you hold up while jumping, you actually gain so much height, it's fucking insane. And don't even get me started on their shit with hooks. I didn't use it. My only gripe with them is that you gotta hold down to fall at normal speed, which makes landing on platforms slightly annoying, but it's a fair trade-off, I guess. Now, I have been told about these in the past, however, no one actually told me what they did other than they're good. Thanks, backseaters! Really helpful as always! Anyway, back to the boss fight. As I said earlier, this was a pretty projectile heavy fight, which is why the extra vertical from Featherfall helped a lot. However, Leviathan is fat. Plus, he dashes at you, which is pretty annoying to time. I could also just be washed. So for the portions where he's alive and kicking, I'd switch the Plaguebringer for the Ram. Now, I know you're probably thinking that I could have switched to Summoner, but with only 5 minion slots, there's not really much you can do with them, which is kind of a lie because apparently minions are released a little Prince level of broken in Calamity. That 5 is probably more than you'd ever need in your entire life. But since I don't play Summoner, I didn't know this. Yet. So we're still sticking with guns. Sure, I'm missing out on some damage bonuses from proper armor, but you gotta remember, I'm the guy who beat the game with the fucking Eye of Magnus. Damage is a completely irrelevant variable to me. That playthrough actually ruined me. Get over here. Okay, no, I wanted to kill her with the fucking, the pick saw. I was feeling pretty confident with this new movement that I ended up taking it up to Infernum's version of Calamitous Clone. I still had some bloodlust left, so I took it out on a small child from outer space and a nut job in a stupid mask. Oh shit, desperation. That's right. No, that's fine. This desperation is easy as balls, so I'm in no real danger here. That's it. Alright. We did it. Lol. Oh, what's that? Celestial creatures are invading? Great. Fantastic, even. I'm gonna procrastinate on that for a worm. Or, you know, maybe not. So in defeat, I cleaned up the rest of the pillars and got folded as soon as space squid spawned. So I took my anger out on a pigfish whose victory felt pretty good. Good enough to slam my head against Moonlord. This fight is kind of annoying. Definitely more annoying than I remember. But then again, last time I cheated with alchemist potions, so could you really call that a fight? It's too fucking easy. It's just too fucking easy. Hello? It's actually too easy. I say as attempt 41. This is Yardis. He's one of the best Infernum players that I know, and a little while ago he did a playthrough called Mid-Human Mode, a challenge where you play Master Mode Infernum with only gear that could be theoretically possible in the real world. Now, the reason I bring this up is because this challenge is also flightless, but it's also mountless, which leads to certain flight required fights up to interpretation. So I watched Yardis' VOD and... what the fuck am I looking at? This right here is the cursed rope coil technique, in which you exploit the rope coil's throwing mechanic to get around the Profane Garden's creative shock debuff. And then you cover it with echo coating because this looks atrocious. Now in human mode, it's... well, I mean, he beat it eventually. It works, but that's mostly because of these two accessories. It's actually a billion trillion times more unbearable without anything. So you'd imagine that my runs wouldn't get anywhere in the slightest. But that's when Yardis reminded me about a weapon called the Mirandale. The weapon itself is kind of mid, and it's already outclassed by now, but it's the secondary function that makes this viable for the entire rest of the game. But we'll get into that more once we actually get our hands on it. And to do so, we'd have to defeat Argus, the bereft vassal. This is a new boss added by Infernum that's fought in a new subworld called the Lost Colosseum. Once you enter this place, you're given the creative shock debuff, much like the Profane Garden, which doesn't allow you to break or place anything, which means no arena to fight the boss, along with the fight also disabling mounts, which made me think that it'd be impossible in our situation, as there are a couple undodgeable attacks with our current form of vertical. But now with the knowledge of Featherfall, these attacks are actually pretty easy, so it was only a matter of time before I'd get the run I was looking for. Yeah! Too easy! Too fucking easy! Too fucking easy! Get the fuck out of my face! Fuck you! Fuck you! So, Mirandale. What does it do? Well, its primary function is kind of irrelevant at this point, so who cares? Its secondary function, however, is much cooler. It gives you a dash that's pretty good. Not really much more to add to that. But the Mirandale made the rope strat less aids, but it still sucked. Eventually I got bored of doing that, so I ended up going back to my original strat from my original run, which was to use the broom and set my mountain key to my dash so that I wouldn't be completely boned whenever they dash at me. If you're wondering why I didn't do this in the first place, it's because I thought ropes would be kind of fun, but holy shit was I wrong. However, since I would hold the direction key when I dash, as soon as I'd unmount, my player would grab onto the rope and not do his little dash. Now this could be solved by just not holding a direction, but that's a lot of muscle memory to overwrite, and I can't just remove the ropes because, you know, creative shock can't break anything. So once those ropes are down, they can't be removed. So I'm fucked basically. So I went on without a dash, which actually worked out pretty well since I could use Stardust Armor now for more minion slots. By the way, I switched to Summoner for this fight so I could focus on moving with my Mirandale when needed. I ended up getting the second phase finally, which was really good. Eventually my buddy Prisma told me about this mechanic called Summon Penalty, which reduces all summon damage by 25% if the player is holding a weapon from a different class, which opened my eyes to building a full damage loadout consisting of Stardust Armor, Tactical Plague Engines with flash rounds, Rainbow Crystal Sentries, Eye of Magnus for the Mark for Death debuff, a Perditus with a Flask of Crumbling, Everclear, Fabsol's Vodka, and a Spiteful Candle. My damage was optimized to the teeth, and it was only a matter of time before I'd figure out how to dodge and win. too fucking easy. It's actually just not even fucking close, dude. Not even close. Alright, Providence time. There's not really too much I have to say about the experience of this. She's widely considered easy, or at least I think so. So you'd imagine how cooked my mindset was when I continuously died to said easy boss. I came up with some Mirandel tech for the intro because I couldn't be asked to spin in circles on the mountain with shitty vertical, and then I ended up switching to melee for this fight for the extra defense, also an excuse to use the Arc of the Elements, and now all I had to do was not be shit, which is easier said than done for me. It was literally this fucking song again. This is this song let me beat fucking Profane Guardians, and I did, and it's playing again, and I beat fucking Providupe with it. What the fuck? Providence dropped the Rune of Cost, which spawns a different boss in different areas. First, we start with Ceaseless Void in the dungeon. It's too easy. Oh wait, Desperation. No, it's fine. It's too easy. It's too easy. Why did that take so long? Why did that... I really gotta like come up with better reactions, because like half of these are just, why did that take so long? Next up is Stormweaver in space. It's so free! It's so free! And finally, Cygnus in Hell, but we're just gonna ignore that guy. All these bosses drop a different material which can be combined into the summoning item for the Devourer of Gods. However, we live in the right timeline where there's an alternate crafting recipe that doesn't require any of those materials. So we didn't actually need to fight any of those guys. especially since I skipped one. But whatever, who cares? But before we can move on to the Space Serpent, we should probably kill Poltergeist, as the gear we can get will be extremely beneficial for our success. Actually, no, screw this guy. Which brings us to Devourer of Gods. 10 months prior to this, he had ended my entire run, as planning did not exist. Before going into this challenge, I knew Space Worm was going to be a problem, since the main way you're supposed to survive him is with Ram Dash accessories. And with my limited knowledge and stubbornness to research, I knew that Solar Flare armor had a built-in ram, which gave me a false hope that Devourer, and in turn Yaron, would be completely possible. However, what I didn't know until the day of was that the Solar Ram fucking blows. After 3 rams, it has to recharge before you can ram again, which makes Devourer of Gods completely unavoidable. I mean, yeah, there's also the Cursed Coil technique, but I didn't know that was a thing, and even now I still don't know how to do it, so we don't actually have to think about solar armor ever again. As if you recall earlier when I was glazing the fuck out of Plaguebringer armor, I mentioned how it has a proper ram dash with no annoying recharge, which makes Devourer of Gods completely possible in the proper way he's supposed to be fought. So the strat is simple. Don't die, and when you're at the bottom, recall. That's it. It did take a couple streams for such a simple boss, but since I have literally no defense and I'm using pre-Poltergeist weapons, I'd basically have to no-hit for a pretty long while, which is a lot of endurance and consistency, and was actually kind of difficult at times. But that could just be boiled down by the fact that I haven't played Infernum at all since my last attempt at this run, so I'm pretty washed. And I'm sure some of you are probably wondering why exactly I'm fighting in pre-Poltergeist. It's mostly because I was kind of lazy, I'm not gonna lie. I spent this entire run to redeem myself of DOG, and finally being right there, I couldn't really be asked to learn a whole new fight and spend God knows how long, you know? So, with all that out of the way, editor, if you will, cue the death montage. Let's go! It's not even it's not even any run at this point. It's like I guess I'm just not allowed it. I'm just not allowed it. Assume every run past 20 will die, because they do. No. He says in the beginning, "You are no god, but I shall feast on you anyway," or some shit like that. I don't like this guy and his dumbass dialogue. It just screams Reddit to me, which is like half the point, but like, God. It's gonna be a little on the nose, you know? No, I'm not still doing this. I'm not sure what your screen shows you, but I'm on XMX right now. Fuck out my face! Sorry. Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here, man! Get the fuck out! Fuck! God, you're annoying. You're a fucking annoying dude. Delete worms, man. Delete this fucking boss. Actually, delete this boss from the fucking game. Oh. No one look at that. No one look at that. No one look at that. I am now a man in lands no one has ever set foot. From this point on, I'm going completely blind. Not only in the context of this challenge, but also the fact that I haven't played post-Dog Infernum in well over a year at this point. But since Yaron is dash slot boss number 2, I figured I'd keep using Plaguebringer, and instead of using melee, I'd instead use full Mirror of Kalandra and a single mech worm while slowly pecking at him with an Eye of Magnus. The dash timings for Yaron were definitely more strict, I feel like, so it made Plaguebringer seem like a very, very steep mountain to climb. That's when I was reminded about a very gimmicky weapon known as the Phosphorescent Gauntlet, which can only be obtained after Poltergast, so I spent a good while doing just that. The thing is, his little spinny rings were really annoying to dodge with the Brimrose mount I had been using. It was definitely pretty difficult to survive and have enough health by the time his Desperation phase hit. The Brimstone Crescent Staff would have been really helpful to have during that. However, my game was completely broken and just wouldn't drop it at all, so I kinda just had to thug it out, I guess. Huh? No way? I'm gonna heal, just because. It's too free. It's actually too free. It's too fucking easy. Hello? So with him down, all I had to do was start the Acid Rain event and kill a nuclear terror for my gauntlet. The phosphorescent gauntlet lunges you forward, and upon striking an enemy, you're knocked back, but also given iframes. It's basically a free ram dash, kind of, despite them serving completely different purposes, with this one in particular being kind of annoying on Dog, but extremely serviceable on Yaron. And also, since it's replacing our dash, we don't need Plaguebringer anymore, and can use progression viable sets such as Silva or my personal pick, Fearmonger. Now, Fearmonger has some really good general and summoner stats, but that's not what I really care about. I care more for the removal of summon penalty. This means that I could hold the Phosphor Gauntlet, a melee weapon, the entire fight, while my minions do their proper amount of damage. In a normal playthrough, who cares? At that point, summoners are already going to be holding summon weapons, but in very niche cases, probably not this one in mine, it works very well. Plus, the gauntlet wasn't just being used as dash replacement either. The lunge combined with the boost from Featherfall pretty much gave me flight in my arena, so it served as really good mobility. But even with all of this, Big Bird would still be a very tough grind with a very funky yet simple learning curve. Ah shit. Ah shit. Yeah, fuck, I was too low. God damn it. Well, that was actually a really good attempt, and you know what? That's a good note to end it off on. I'm actually happy about that. I don't want to eat my words. He's going to die. The worm. You hear me? The worm will die. Not the worm, the bird. The bird will fucking die. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey guys. I ran a couple practice attempts, and they went pretty good. Pretty good. Let's play this game. Let's play this game. I don't expect these first couple attempts to go all that crazy. Wow, first attempt at the stream. Wow. Don't expect anything to come out of this, but you know, that'd be chill as fuck. What? What? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the hell? What? No way! No fucking way! First fucking attempt at the stream! What the hell? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? No way! No way! No way! No fucking way, dude! No way! No. Yes! That's so funny! That's so hilarious! Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Holy shit. I knew it. I knew this was gonna be, I knew this session. I knew this was gonna be the fucking session. I didn't know it was gonna be the first step. I expected to get there, like, several attempts from fucking now. But no. Fucking first attempt of the fucking stream. That's fucking 198 exactly. That's fucking crazy. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. Well, that was unexpected, but sure. With Yarn's death, Auric ore is spread throughout our world, which when ground up into bars can be combined with some armor sets we acquired throughout our journey, along with a flying carpet for some reason, and you get Auric Tesla armor. The flying carpet part always felt a little strange to me, if not annoying at times, but in our situation, this works out really well. I genuinely do not know what I would have done without this carpet. Early glaze I know, but holy shit, this was a godsend for me. But moving on from the auric carpet, after grabbing the Lilies of Finality from the Brimstone Crag, I felt pretty ready for the final push. As every Chapstick's Calamity video goes, after Yaron I always gun straight for Calamitous without fighting Exomex, as I've never beaten them before. But Yard is threatened to kidnap my family and make them play mid-human if I didn't fight them, so I had no choice but to do so. But before we can even start practicing, I need another weapon that will be very good for this fight, which happens to drop from the Primordial Worm in the Abyss. Now there is an attack that completely aids to dodge, even with actual wings. However, with an anti-gravity hook, this spiral makes it 7 billion times easier and completely balances out the rest of the fight. Dude, I'm so off. It's so funny, but like, I'm still living. Shit. Alright, I won. Almost fucked that up. Almost fucked that up. But, you know, it's fine. Worm dropped a lot of things. For now, all I care about is the Halibut Cannon, which is a stupidly good gun, and when paired with Bloodfire bullets, will shred the ever-loving shit out of Thanatos. I don't know why, but hell, I'm not complaining. So now that I really have everything, it's time for Exomex. So after almost a dozen hours of Exomex, I came to this strategy. The combination I'd go with would be Ares, then Twins. I'd primarily dodge with the Mirandale, but on sections with less movement, I'd get some tag damage in with my whip. Then once Thanatos appeared, I'd switch to my Plaguebring armor to have an insurance ram while raining Bloodfire with my Halibut Cannon. Then once he's down, I'd do the same song and dance from the phase before, praying that I'd still have Silva immunity and a heal until Ares eventually pops. To which I'd just face tank the Twins' final attack before Desperation, where I'd switch some things around to maximize defense before spamming my Mirandale and praying that I live. Simple, right? Sure, but when you take into account literal RNG bullet patterns, lag, and overall tilt, this fight completely fucking sucks. But you know, a dogshit Terraria fight with dogshit circumstances cannot stop the indomitable human spirit. Yes! Yeah! Ah! Fuck you! Get the fuck out of my face! Oh my god, dude, I got so dude, I saw the end of the world and I thought I was so fucked. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Yes! Oh my god, that was actually the worst fucking playing experience I've ever had in Terraria. This fucking boss fight was the actual worst experience of my life. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. We're now in the end game. Only one boss stands between me and victory. It just so happens that she fucking sucks. So, coming off of the massive tilt sesh that was Exomex, I wasn't really feeling Calamitous at all. Not to mention that I've only killed her on Infernum once in my life, and that was my very first playthrough. It's really only because I'm not really a big fan of this fight. I'm also horrendous at this game, and that part isn't even a bit. But I digress, as this time I can't just fold at the finish line. I have to verify this, even if it kills me. This is something only I, and I alone, can do. Which is a big fat lie, but it sounded really cool. So let me break down the whole experience for you guys, since it's kind of a doozy. Following the defeat of Draenon's magnum opus, I obtained a mount called the Exobox, which has no acceleration or deceleration, so it's the perfect mount. The only catch is that it's disabled for Infernum Calamitous. Great! But I still took it to quickly slash Old Duke for his sentry for a tad bit of extra DPS on Scout. Now, initially I was planning on doing basically the same thing that I did on Exomex, with Mirandale spam for mobility, but that didn't really go all that well. Then I accidentally discovered a way to cheese the Exo Chair into the fight. Basically, when you press the mount key, it'll still activate for a split second before being deactivated, but you're still able to make inputs in that very short time it's active. So if you spam mount, it'll work just fine. So I set up a macro and tried going about it like that, but it didn't really sit right with me. Not only was the fight exponentially less fun this way, but it was also fucking annoying. But for now, this is gonna have to do. And in that time, I was told about a weapon called the Illusioner's Reverie, which I had gotten from the Primordial Worm all the way back. Never once had I considered using Mage at all during this playthrough, since mana is a very limited thing, and I don't have anything other than armor to reduce mana costs, and it would be extremely annoying to have to manually drink a mana pot every time the tank is empty. However, Illusioner's Reverie only takes 10 mana, and does crazy amount of damage. So for the first time ever, I will be switching primarily to Mage during this fight, and only switching to Rogue for Sepulture and whatever the fuck this is. However, high damage can't save me from being abysmal dogshit at dodging. I wasn't really having any fun with this fight, and that's mostly because my scummy mobility option didn't sit right with me. So for shits and giggles, I ran a couple attempts without doing that, and I was starting to enjoy the fight a little bit. And eventually I started getting better results, and because of that I thought, oh yeah, I can do this. I didn't have flight. I didn't have fucking flight. I didn't have flight. I was holding space and I just wasn't... No carpet. My mindset about this fight was cooked beyond repair at this point. I've learned every single part, yet always fell short to whatever random ass RNG bullshit. This was the first ever Terraria fight to break me. Typically my mindset with this game is pretty healthy. It's just a game. If I fail, I'll always get back up. It might not be now, it might not be soon, but it will happen. But in the case of Calamitous, the pressure of being at the very end with an impossibly dense wall was really getting to me. But there was still a small flame inside me, refusing to go out. Somehow profited. It's over.
Yeah! Yeah! Fuck you! Ah! Yeah!
It couldn't be done, they said. You fucking suck, they said. Use the Sergeant United shield, they said. Yet I say to like and subscribe for Eternity Mode.